Jason Wolf here with Phoenix Speed Industries and driver of our blue R8. Last week we were out at Streetcar Braggin Rights for basically our third race with the car, making a ton of progress. Got out there with the intentions to launch the car better, do some better 60 foots, and that was the goal. So yeah, Wednesday was the first day of test and tune. Some of the changes we made from our previous race, we made a tire change, moving away from the slicks, and then some launch control strategy stuff to get the car to launch harder but smoother at the same time. So we made about 3 test hits that day. First and second one were kind of crummy. Third, we actually got into later in the night when the air was better. Car clicked off its best pass to date with a 7.32 at 201 mile an hour and a 1.29 60 foot, which all of those were the best that the car has done to date. So we were super excited. We're making progress. Tire change and launch control strategy change proved to be the right direction. So that was our third test pass. We actually got one more in later that night. Tried to hit the tire a little harder. Made it mad a little bit, but all in all, still way better than we've ever done with the car. So we definitely knew we were onto something and moving in the right direction as well. Thursday was our day off. Thursday was roll racing for Streetcar Braggin Rights. We don't do the roll racing, so we ended up getting lucky and got a tee time out at Pinehurst. So it's one of those things for the golfers out there. If you know, you know. Friday was our first pass. Was one round of test and tune. We turned the car down. It was the middle of the day, pretty warm. Clicked off a 7.5 with command, basically. So we kind of had a good tune for later at night when the air was good, and we had a tune for if we were going to be racing during the day. So we kind of had both aspects figured out. So Friday, our first round of qualifying, we ended up clicking off a 7.42, which would set us at the top of the bracket. Going into the very first round of qualifying. Later on that night, we got into our second round of qualifying, which we did better. Clicked off a 7.35 at 197 with a 1.26 60 foot, which basically put us as the car to beat for the weekend, and we were extremely pleased. Top qualifier, obviously.
And your number 1 qualifier, ladies and gentlemen, with a 7.35, 197 miles an hour on that last, over 200 total, Jason Wolf. All-wheel drive. Let's go, Phoenix Speed!
That's it, that's it.
Coins and alcohol.
Rory listen up, all female competitors, Rory would like to make more friends, basically.
Yeah, confidence was definitely at an all-time high. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. With as quickly as we've been making progress on this car with every pass, for it to be as consistent and as solid on command, we knew we were kind of moving in the right direction and had a car to beat. Still had some left in the tunes. Still had a little bit left, we think, on the launch if the air got good and the track came around. So we kind of knew we had a hot rod for sure for the race. Yeah, as a driver, I think nothing gets more intimidating than pulling into the burnout box and then a flock of people just bum rushing the lanes. So we kind of knew, not only from the performance, but by the whole atmosphere with the announcer doing his job of hyping this car up. It was pretty exciting. That announcer, that voice is iconic now. Seems to be at every race we're attending.
The finish line first and you get the win. Right side, look at the wheel stand. How about a second one? He has to pedal it, wheel it, deal it, use the steering wheel, and a 7.52 for Jason Wolf.
So it's awesome to hear a familiar voice, and then a familiar voice that knows the car as well. So Saturday was eliminations. Once the bracket got set, we drew a first round bye, which was awesome. So did quite a few other cars. I believe that's just the way the bracket shook down with how many cars we had. The second race, we drew Jazz with a really fast M2 BMW. I think he was a consistent low 8-second car. Didn't want to do anything silly, so waited for green, made a good pass. I believe we ran in the 7.5s as well, staying consistent with what the car can do. Third round pairing was against Jordan Taylor. He had a pretty quick GTR from Sissio, I believe. That whole camp was pretty awesome. We were next to them all weekend, and they were nothing but professionals. Kind of lucky, he ended up jumping the light and red lit. I saw it as soon as I was letting off the brake for the two-step. Saw it out of the corner of my eye, so kind of lifted and saved the car the rest of the way down the track. And to be honest, as because I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, as I was pulling around to where they hand out this time slips, in the back of my mind, I was like, that better have been a red light I saw. So as soon as I saw the ticket, saw a win next to it in red light. So yeah, we're good. So our fourth pairing, our semifinal race was against Rich Rainey, I believe his last name was. He has a very fast GTR from Workhorse Performance. We knew we had to make a pass now. This is where everything's getting faster and things are on the line. So cut a decent light. Car launched pretty hard, was on a pass right around the 8th mile, right when I would think we were catching right back up to him on his door. Sudden, the car started to lay over, sort of, not pulling as hard, kind of felt like the clutches were slipping. And at that point on, from the 8th mile on, he started basically walking in the wrong direction. We were going backwards, he was going forwards. And then by then I lifted, and that race basically ended our weekend. Not sure at that time what it was. Car ran an 8.0 at 150 or 148 mile an hour. Pulled the car back to camp. Kind of was just sitting there. Moses was pulling a log when we turned it off. Let the car kind of cool down a little bit. Went to turn the car on, noticed it had a little stutter. Diving into it more, we found that it lost a coil pack. So we'll have to address that as summer upgrades for sure. All in all, it was a great week. Car made epic progress. Seems like every race we go out, we set a new personal best. So eventually that might stop, but at this rate, it's pretty awesome. Can't thank Nate Prater enough for hosting that race. Rockingham Dragway, track officials, track prep, the announcer, everything about that race was pretty epic. Definitely would go back in a heartbeat. Can't wait for next year. Looking forward to our next races. We have FL2K in Florida. That will be a nice race to attend. If World Cup Finals announces a DCT class, we are absolutely in for that one as well. Making our November pretty full. We're going to hit GTR Fest as well. And then heading back home, with the following week, we'll have Streetcar Takeover, which we should have a fleet of cars of our own, F-150, a BMW, and then if the prep's there, we'll take the Audi down the track as well. Yeah, I guess like most racers, we always watch the weather. Weather plays a big role in what we do and how these cars perform. I believe the forecast looked like rain every day, basically. And when we got there for tech on Tuesday, it showed rain. Actually, it was raining. Unloading the car, it was raining. Teching the car, it was raining. So it had a little bit of a doom and gloom look to it for the race. But literally after that, it didn't rain again the whole week. So it turned out to be a perfect week of racing. The best part, I think, of any kind of race team is the hard work paying off, basically. And not just, hey, something worked, but more or less a theory worked, it made progress, and kind of did what you thought it would do. So we had plenty of those instances this weekend. And so with the results that we had, obviously we didn't win, and now it's a bummer. But for how the weekend shook down and how the car performed, it's the closest thing to a win for us. I mean, and taking nothing away from that top qualifying position, that was kind of some icing on the cake as well. Yeah, other than that, that's the complete recap of our Streetcar Braggin Rights 2025. Like I said, we're looking forward to our next races and hope to see some of you guys out there.